Welcome everyone! In this video, we are going to be diving into my top 3 best teams for Araquanid. Now guys, at the time of recording this video, the Great League is set to return tomorrow at the time that leagues typically reset, which will be giving us all an opportunity to finally try out our brand new Araquanids that we were able to catch while the Great League was away. So I thought, why not set everyone up for success and give you some good team ideas for Araquanid, because I know a lot of you guys have this brand new Pokemon, maybe not quite sure what to do with it, not quite sure what to pair it with. We've got you covered in this video here today. So without further ado, before we dive into the 3 teams, let's have a closer look at Araquanid. So guys, Araquanid, a very fun new addition to the Great League. It is a water and bug type Pokemon with an absolutely massive stat product, guys. Just to put this into perspective for you, it actually has a higher stat product than a rank 1 PvP optimized Galarian Stunfisk. So this thing is no joke. Very unique typing for this meta. It will have only 3 weaknesses, and that is electric, flying, and rock. So we don't see too much electric, but we may see the rise of it. And of course, we do have some solid flying types, and we also don't see too many rock types as well in this meta. So we may see the reemergence of Bastiodon with the introduction of Araquanid, as I would say Bastiodon is definitely Araquanid's kryptonite in the Great League meta. And when it comes to moveset, guys, I'm going to have to absolutely go with the recommended Bug Bite, Bug Buzz, Bubble Beam moveset. It does have access to Mirror Coat as well, but there was a little bit of thought on, Bug Bite or Infestation as, the recommended movesets aren't always necessarily the way to go, but yeah, I gotta absolutely agree with Bug Bite as the recommended fast move. It just seems that Araquanid, because it doesn't hit particularly hard, really relies on that intense fast move pressure from a one-turn move like Bug Bite to dole out a lot of its damage along with its charge moves. As you can see there, having Bug Bite does give it the edge over very strong meta Pokemon that you will see, like Trevenant, as we can see here, Scrafty, Sableye, and you don't see too much Machamp, but you could run into it here and there. But mostly Sableye, Trevenant, and Scrafty. As you can see, having Infestation, you actually lose to those 3 very common Pokemon in the meta. So definitely Bug Bite's the way to go. Not that Infestation is a bad move, guys. A lot of people think that Infestation is a bad move. I would disagree. It's actually a clone of Hex, while Bug Bite is a clone of Lick. So if you draw those comparisons, generally I would go with Hex over something like Lick if we're using ghost types as an analogy. But yeah, it's just unique to this new Pokemon here. It really does rely on that intense Bug Bite fast move pressure with Stab. So that's the quick little rundown on Araquanid. With all that said, guys, let's hop into team number 1. All right, guys, here we go. Team number 1 for Araquanid. It is quite a powerful team, guys. This is a very strong team that I'm definitely excited to give a try myself. And it consists of Registeel on the lead. Trevenant is your safe swap, and you've got Araquanid in the back on team number 1. So this team is designed to address, of course, the ever so popular and time-tested Bastiodon Metacham team, which you typically will see Sableye on the safe swap. Classically, that is how the team is composed. But as the seasons have gone on, we have seen Sableye swapped out for a number of different Pokemon. I've seen Trevenant with that team. I've seen Azumarill with it as well. But the core components of Metacham and Bastiodon remain the same. So This team is primarily targeted toward that team. It can also perform very well up against the very strong Swampert Skarmory core, which again, classically you see with Sableye on the safe swap, but you can also see it with Drapion as well. So this team is built to address many of the common team comps that you see in the Great League. Let's have a look at this scorecard here. Very decent scorecard. This is not bad at all, guys. I don't know if you guys have done some preliminary analysis or team building for Araquanid yourself, but this Pokemon, it's very difficult to get a team with anything higher than a C in terms of coverage for it. Not sure why that is. Maybe there aren't enough simulations on it, but for now, having a B for coverage on an Araquanid team currently on PvPoke is saying a lot, because most team comps will spit out a C in terms of coverage or even worse. So a B for coverage is saying a lot. You get a solid A for bulk, an A for safety, and a B for consistency. That is an outstanding scorecard for an Araquanid team, guys. Let's have a look at these matchups here. So, as I mentioned before, this team is meant to address the reemergence of Bastiodon. Just as you can guarantee that the sun will rise in the morning, you can guarantee that you are going to see a rise in the usage of Bastiodon in the Great League with the addition of Araquanid. So, of course, you will be winning lead on those Bastiodon teams with Registeel. If you're met with a fighter, you're going to want to safe swap into Trevenant, of course. You'll draw out a very hard counter to Araquanid, most likely a Skarmory or an Altaria or something of that nature. Maybe even a Bastiodon that may be lurking in the back, because with Medicham leads, you can often see a double steel backline with Bastiodon and Galarian Stunfisk. So you'll definitely draw out something like that. Then Registeel can come back in, take that out, which will allow Araquanid to roam free. That is how this team is designed. So Medicham, any fighter like that, or Scrafty, you're going into Trevenant. Like I said, you're going to be winning very hard up against those Bastiodon leads. You're going to be doing well against the Walrein leads, which may see a decline in usage, but I don't know. Walrein may still be used just as heavily as it is today, as Walrein is absolutely overpowered. Of course, you're going to be winning lead on those flying type leads. You might see a lot of Skarmory leads. You might see a lot of Altaria leads, as the flyers do very well against Araquanid, which is, again, why we are leading with Registeel with this team, guys. So Nidoqueen and Swampert. You could see Nidoqueen Double Dark come about, or you could just see people continue to run that Swampert Skarmory core. In that case, again, you're going to be going into Trevenant. You want to draw out something that Araquanid can beat, like a Scrafty or a Skarmory, depending on which team comp you run into. That way, Registeel can beat that and set up Araquanid to have the most success. So that's team number one. Very powerful Araquanid team. Looking like my favorite. And definitely one I will be featuring once the Great League comes back. Very solid scorecard for this one. And yeah, that is team number one. Registeel on the lead, Trevenant on the safe swap, and Araquanid in the back. So with all that said, that is team number one. Let's have a look at team number two. All right, guys, here we go. Team number two. Another solid Araquanid team for you guys. And it leads with Defense Form Deoxys. Galarian Stunfisk is your safe swap. And you've got Araquanid in the back on team number two. The beauty of this team is you're not going to have to, with Defense Form Deoxys on the lead, you're not going to have to really swap out too often, unless, of course, you are met with a strong ghost type. Of course, Defense Form Deoxys wants nothing to do with the ghost types. So if you are met with a ghost, you're going to safe swap and do Galarian Stunfisk. They will likely meet you with a fighter. Most likely, if they have it, you kind of want to draw that out because you know that Defense Form Deoxys can do well against the strong fighters in this meta. Araquanid also does well against the fighters as well. While Stunfisk on the safe swap can absolutely hold its own. It is a powerful safe swap option in the Great League, even with a type disadvantage. That is how strong Galarian Stunfisk is. So let's have a look at this scorecard here. Not bad. Pretty decent scorecard for team number 2, guys. Again, having a B for coverage on an Araquanid team is saying a lot because it is very difficult to get anything higher than a C in terms of coverage for an Araquanid team for some reason as of now on PvPoke. Again, I suspect that is because it is still relatively new and the simulations haven't all been completely fleshed out on it. So you do get a very solid, strong B for coverage for team number 2. You get an A for bulk, B for safety, and a B for consistency. Not bad at all for team number 2. Let's have a look at these matchups here really quick. So again, this team is designed to have a lot of flexibility on the lead. You're really only swapping out on the ghost type leads as well as even something like an Umbreon or a Lickitung. Defense Form Deoxys with counter as its fast move can really hang in there and hold its own. But at some point on Lickitung or Umbreon, you will want to eventually safe swap out of that. My general rule of thumb is to get it to about 50% health if you can before making that switch. But any, actual ghost type like Trevenant, Sableye, Jellicent, you're getting out of there immediately into Stunfisk and looking to play from there. As Araquanid doesn't really want to see the strong ghost types in this meta, most notably Jellicent and Cofagrigus. Araquanid actually has decent matchups up against Trevenant and Sableye. So, I would say Cofagrigus or Jellicent on the lead. That's a hard immediate swap out into Stunfisk and look to go from there. But everything else, you're going to have a good time up against on the lead. Deoxys has a lot of strong play against just about the entire Great League meta, again, with the exception of the very strong ghost types. Even something like Mandibuzz, I would treat that as the same as Umbreon and Lickitung on the lead. I would say try and get off that big Thunderbolt before making a play into your Stunfisk. Because I say 50% out because that's a manageable range if it happens to find its way to your Araquanid, where Araquanid can do very well. So team number 2, very solid. The easiest, I would say, of the 3 to play and work your way out of. As, again, Defense Form Deoxys has a lot of strong play on the lead. You're going to be doing well against a lot of things in this meta with team number 2. As you can see, nothing absolute. There isn't one Pokemon in the meta that absolutely shuts out team number 2. You have very broad coverage across the entire meta. So solid team for team number 2. Decent scorecard. Not bad at all, guys. And another team that I'm interested in really trying out with Araquanid, team number 2, that is Defense Form Deoxys on the lead. Galarian Stunfisk as your safe swap with Araquanid in the back to close the game strong. So that is team number 2. With all that said, guys, let's hop into team number 3. All right, guys, last but certainly not least, team number 3 for Araquanid. It's looking like another very strong and solid team for Araquanid in the Great League, and it runs Nidoqueen on the lead, Lickitung as your safe swap, and Araquanid in the back to close the game strong. So, guys, although Lickitung has been out in the wild, quite prevalent as of late, if some of you out there don't quite have one ready for the Great League as of yet, some solid replacements for it would be Mandibuzz. In my analysis, seems to be the best replacement for it on this team. But historically, Greedent and Munchlax are generally very suitable replacements for Lickitung as well, if some of you out there don't quite have one just yet. Although it has been in the wild quite a bit, so a much stronger opportunity to finally get a solid Lickitung. But those are some replacements for those of you who don't yet have one. But yeah, team number 3 is looking pretty solid as well, guys. Let's have a look at this scorecard here. Not bad at all, guys. Solid scorecard for team number 3. Identical to team number 2. You get that B for coverage, A for bulk, B for safety, and a B for consistency. Very solid scorecard for team number 3. Let's have a look at these matchups here. So Nidoqueen on the lead is going to be very strong. Again, we want to address that Bastiodon lead that we may be seeing quite a bit more of with the introduction of Araquanid into the Great League meta. Nidoqueen absolutely dominates Bastiodon, and that is because with the ground typing, you're resisting that fast move pressure, and you can really threaten with double super effective earth powers. It's not particularly close between Nidoqueen and Bastiodon, so we're taking full advantage of that. Of course, you're going to be doing very well up against the fighters as well. Nidoqueen can actually hold its own against Trevenant as well, although both Pokemon in the back have solid matchups against Trevenant. So if you encounter it on the lead, I would go right into Lickitung on the safe swap and see what goes from there. The beauty of having Lickitung as your safe swap is it is one of the best safe swap options in the Great League, and that is just because it is, of course, extremely bulky. It can just hang in there due to its extreme bulk and spam off those body slams, but mostly because it has a lot of strong neutral play against just about the entire Great League meta. It has a lot of solid wins, making it a very strong safe swap option. So the ghost types, you're going into Lickitung and looking to play from there. And, of course, Walrein you're getting out of there on. Walrein, that's the beauty of the introduction of Araquanid, is it provides some much-needed balance to Walrein, guys. In case you're unaware, Araquanid is Walrein's worst nightmare in this meta, which is another reason why I'm excited to see it be introduced. So, of course, Walrein you're swapping out of there. Altaria, like the flying leads, notably I would say Altaria and Mandibuzz, you're actually going to want to stay in there a little bit. Get off a couple of Poison Fangs, and you may even want to play it out. That may be the safest play for either an Altaria or a Mandibuzz on the lead. Nidoqueen does have narrow losses to those two, but it is very close, and by then it would be thoroughly debuffed, allowing you to come in with Lickitung to finish it off. The one exception in terms of flying leads would be Skarmory. That's another very tricky lead with this team because you don't want to have that Skarmory find its way to your Araquanid. That's another one where I would soft lose lead on. Just rip off those earth powers just as fast as you get to them with Altaria. They do really start to add up because they are only single resisted because Skarmory does have steel typing, which will get it relatively low and allow you to come in with Lickitung to finish it off. That's the safest way to play a Skarmory lead because Skarmory is bad news for Araquanid, of course. But everything else, as we all know, Nidoqueen is solid on the lead. Cofagrigus, of course, is a bit tricky as well. You may want to try and get off a big earth power. Nidoqueen can absolutely tank a Shadow Ball from Cofagrigus. They will most likely let the earth power go through in fear of the Poison Fang bait. And that's a nice trap that you can set up for the Cofagrigus because you really want to chunk some of that health. Because if it does find its way to your Araquanid, you'll want to have it within a manageable health range for it. So that is team number 3. Very solid team. Another fun team that I'm excited to give a try in the Great League once it does come around. Very solid and strong scorecard for team number 3. And that is Nidoqueen on the lead. Licky Tongue on the safe swap, and Araquanid in the back to close the game strong. And that about wraps it up for my top 3 best teams for Araquanid in the Great League. It's going to be a lot of fun. I always enjoy when Niantic introduces new Pokemon, particularly the new ones that are relevant to the meta. And Araquanid is absolutely meta relevant. It is absolutely meta in the Great League, and it will shift the meta in a very fun way. It's always nice when things get shifted around a little bit. It gives you a little change of pace, change of scenery, and you will be seeing some new team comps pop up with the introduction of Araquanid. So guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching, and keep up the grind. Thank you guys.